We're here at this ridge with amazing views in every direction, just going across the saddle here, and we're gonna head down the trail back this way, all along that ridge, and then down the other side.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Kilgore. Welcome to In the Bible. I'm glad to be back with another video for you today. My family and I spent about a week backpacking in the North Cascades at the end of last month, and we've come home with a new habit in our daily routine that I want to share with you today.
Switchbacks back and forth along here, going all the way down. Just a little gap there. The sun's almost gone. Our verse for the day: whoever says that he abides in him ought also to walk even as he walked. And so we're going to do some walking today. Sun's just coming up over that ridge there. We've stopped for breakfast. We're eating on the trail here. I got some oatmeal. Looks like we're halfway there. Rainy Pass 15, Hearts Pass 15. Climbing up to Methow Pass. We've come to the head of the valley. We're pretty much exhausted. We've got another mile and a half to go. It's a little bit of a drizzly morning. Got some water coming down. We woke up, realized it, and it was about 5:30 or so. And it wasn't really enough to soak anything, just enough to get it a little bit damp. And so we went ahead and got packed up. The bugs here are awful again in the morning. So it's been a really frustrating morning just trying to get everything up and going. Mosquitoes and some of those little gnats that just swarm your face constantly. We're up here on the pass, making some breakfast. The fog has come in from across that other valley, and now we can't see the valley beyond, or the peaks beyond. We have made it over Metau Pass, finished having breakfast, and now we're back on the trail. That's Tower Mountain up ahead of us. So here we've come over into the other valley, or we can see the other valley now. This is the pass down below. How are we feeling? It's had a steep bit of climbing. We are way up here now. Way up here. We were just down there. Came up a steep section of switchbacks. We just crossed over the other side of the ridge. To a new valley and new peaks and new sights. Pretty amazing. So we're up here at Cutthroat Pass, and we've decided to come on down to the next tent site. We thought about maybe staying here tonight or maybe coming down if we had enough energy. We've already been hiking for almost 7 hours. We got up early and we've been hiking all day, but we've been going slow. And anyway, there's some cool wind coming in, and there's some spots of sunlight off in the distance, but also some clouds, and there's some mountain bikers up here that must have come up from Cutthroat Lake on that trail and said that there was a 60% chance of rain tomorrow and something like a chance of lightning this afternoon. Tomorrow we'll have a short hike to get out, so we're looking forward to that. Here we are. We made it.
One of the things that we started doing on this trip that we found really helpful was, instead of getting up in the morning and having breakfast and getting cleaned up and then tearing down camp and getting our things packed and hitting the trail, instead we would get up early in the morning, and the first thing we would do would be to pack our sleeping bags, pack our sleeping pads, get the tent torn down and packed up, and we would get on the trail and get a few miles in hiking, or, we'd get hiking for a little while at least before we would reward ourselves by stopping and having breakfast. Oftentimes it would be getting warm or hot later in the day, and so we wanted to do as much of our hiking as we could first thing in the morning. It also helped us to get warmed up in the cool morning by getting packed up right away, getting on the trail, and our bodies would warm up before we had breakfast. And so by changing this habit and by getting started on the trail first thing in the morning, we found that that really worked well in setting the stage for the whole day. And along with getting started in our day by getting packed and getting started with our hike, the other thing that we would do is that we would read our verse of the day, we would pray together, we'd discuss that verse as we were walking down the trail. And that time together as a family, spending some time with God, praying together and getting started with our hike and getting something accomplished that we would feel good about, we found that that really worked well for us. My youngest son said later in the trip that when we got home, he wanted to keep getting up early in the morning. And so that's exactly what we've done. We've continued to get up early in the morning since we've come home, and we'll just go out for usually just a short walk together, but we'll read our verse of the day, we'll talk about it as we're walking, we'll pray together, and it's really just a good way for us to start our morning. And so it's a positive habit that we've added to our daily routine as a family. And the Bible talks about habits like this, having habits of spending time with God, something that's part of your daily routine. Joshua 1 verse 8 says this: This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night. Another passage in the Psalms, Psalm chapter 1 and verse 2, it says, His delight is in the law of the Lord, and on His law He meditates day and night. A good example of this in action comes from the life of the prophet Daniel. In Daniel chapter 6 and verse 10, it says, He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he had done previously. Another good example, of course, is from the life of Jesus. There are many examples in his life of Jesus going away to spend time with God. But we read in Luke chapter 4, verse 16, And as was his custom, he went to the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and he stood up to read. So it was Jesus' custom, it was his regular practice of going to the synagogue on the Sabbath day to worship, and in this case, to stand up to read the scriptures. There's something about having a routine or a habit or a custom, a regular practice of spending time with God in His Word, in prayer with Him, in fellowship and worship along with other believers, that really is an important part of strengthening and maintaining our connection to God. And so the Bible teaches us to live this way, to spend time in God's presence regularly, have a habit of opening His Word and of spending time with Him in prayer. A while ago, I noticed that I had gotten into the habit of getting up in the morning, and the first thing that I would do is that I would go downstairs and I would just get started reading the news or watching something totally unimportant on YouTube. And I noticed that I had this habit and I wanted to do something different, but I don't know how you are in the morning, but when I get up, I'm pretty tired. I'm not really thinking very clearly for the first few minutes. And so I found that this habit was really hard to break. I just was very strongly ingrained in that habit of going downstairs and reading the news or just kind of wasting time doing something on my phone or on my computer. So I decided to start a new habit by following one of the tips that I found in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. In that book, he talks about the 2-minute rule and the idea that in order to establish a new habit, you really have to make it super easy in the beginning before it gets established. And so he recommends starting with a new habit by just doing it for 2 minutes, not any more than that, just make it super easy. So I decided that rather than going downstairs and looking at my devices first thing in the morning, I would start my day by spending time in prayer and in God's Word for 2 minutes. Another important thing that you want to do when you start a new habit is to decide ahead of time when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, what exactly it is that you're going to do, and what is it that you need to get prepared to make it as easy for yourself to do it as possible. Basically, you want to make all of the decisions ahead of time so that it's already decided before it comes time to carry out the new habit that you want to create. So for me, I chose that I was going to sit outside or in one of the chairs that we have in the living room. I was going to use my Bible app on the daily reading plan I was already following, and I was going to do that right after I made myself a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. Nothing was complicated about it. I knew what I was going to do, and I knew when I was going to do it, and I was ready to get started on it. So now I want to extend the invitation to you. I want to invite you to join me and my family by starting a new habit of spending time with God at some point in your day, some time that you're going to do regularly and consistently every day. So if you want to join my family and I in starting a new habit of spending time with God, the first thing you need to do is to decide what is it exactly that you're going to do. Maybe you're going to follow a daily Bible reading plan. Maybe there's a study guide that you want to use to spend time with God, or a devotional book, something like that. Maybe you have already a habit that you have been practicing. You just need to make it consistent. But first you need to decide what it is that you're going to do in your time with God. The second thing is you need to decide when you're going to do it. When is this habit going to happen every day? You need to decide where you're going to do it. Find a particular place in your home that you do it every single time, or maybe in your office or in your car, wherever you can find a quiet place that works for you. And you also want to decide what preparation needs to be done so that there's no complications, nothing is getting in the way. If you're going to be sitting at your desk with your Bible open, that would be a good time to decide I need to get the desk cleaned off. I need to have the Bible laid out so that when I go down in the morning to my office, it's already set up there ready for me. Whatever it is you need to do to get ready, do that as well. Now, if you already have an existing habit in your daily routine or in your life, it can be very effective to add this new habit at the end of that previous habit. So if you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is make breakfast, you can decide to add this time with God right after you make breakfast. And that's an easy way for it to become a cue that now it's time to spend time with God. Maybe when you get home from work every day, as soon as you're done with dinner, you put the dishes away. That could be a perfect time to add in a new routine. Maybe it's during your break for lunch at work. You can go to the same place every day and add in a new habit at that point. If you want to learn more about how habits are made and how bad habits can be broken, I really do recommend James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. You'll find a link to that book at Amazon down in the description below this video. If you already have a good habit that is really working for you, spending time with God in His Word and in prayer, then I sure hope that you'll tell me about it down in the comments below. That can be a good source of encouragement for other people who are looking to make a new habit or add a new habit. And if you're going to join my family and I in adding a new habit into your life of spending time with God, then let us know down in the comments as well. We'd sure love to hear about it and hear what you've decided to do. Well, that does it for me today. If you liked this video or you got a blessing out of it, don't forget to hit that like button down below to really help my channel out. Every week I share a new video to help you understand the Bible and study it for yourself. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider joining the community and just click that subscribe button down below. You can also click the bell icon next to the subscribe button to choose the alerts that you want to receive from YouTube whenever I post a new video. That does it for today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.